Well, hello and welcome back, everyone. So, today I decided to do a little video more towards something that's been kind of very like pushing at me these last few weeks since I've been going on 3 weeks since I've been home. That is an illness that I talked a little bit about on my channel, but not too much. It would be my Turner syndrome, something that I've opened up a little bit about. I just wanted to really share about how it came into my life and how it affected my life and how it even correlates with my anorexia/eating disorder. So when I was 16, first off, for those of you who don't know, Turner syndrome is a genetic illness and it is not passed down. That's why it's not called genetic illness. It's genetic illness because it's when your genes are not developed right. And so I didn't develop correctly. That's why I also look like a 12-year-old instead of a 22-year-old. And hence the being short and all that stuff. So I didn't even know what Turner syndrome was. Never even heard of it in my whole life. Most people don't. And I always felt a little weird because I was always shorter than my siblings and always like a little girl. And like my sister developed quite early in life, so did my mom. And my brother's also now 6'2", going on 6'2". So I always felt a little weird. Um, but so when I was 16, I decided to tell my mom that something was a little off. I felt off because I hadn't. This is gonna be a little bit maybe too much for you guys, but I hadn't had my period yet or anything. So I kind of was like, "Mom, this seems weird," and she agreed. So she took me to her doctor and they tested me for a bunch of things that I've never even heard of. Which typically when you go to the doctor and that age, you're like, I have no idea what the heck you're testing for, what this even means, but I'll go along with it because you're a doctor and I trust you. So they ended up finding out I had Turner syndrome by a blood test. So, and you don't, I guess most people don't think of the day I found out was probably one of the most, not the most, but one of the most traumatic days of probably my life. I remember being in the kitchen. I was making lunch. My mom and sister were there also making their own separate lunches. We weren't making lunch together. We were the same thing. We were just all making our own lunches, talking, and my mom got a phone call. I was 16, so obviously she's my guardian, and all my doctor phone calls went through her. And she said, "Oh, it's your doctor." And she answered it, and the doctor told her the test results, and that I had Turner syndrome. She put on speakerphone, from what I remember, and the doctor kind of explained things to me and what that would mean. I remember from that moment on, my life forever changed. The only thing I heard from that conversation with the doctor on speakerphone was the fact that I would never be able to have my own kids. I do not produce eggs because my chromosomes didn't develop right, so my ovaries didn't develop right, so I don't produce eggs, so I can't have my own kids. That's the only thing I heard from that whole conversation. I threw away my lunch without eating a bite. I went to my room, and that's another thing that people don't realize is I'm going to correlate this to eating disorders. With eating disorders, they're used as a coping mechanism, as I've talked about a few times before, and that's straight up what I did. I used my eating disorder as a coping mechanism to deal with the fact that my number one goal in life would never happen. I wouldn't be able to get the sense that something was weird, not wrong, but something was off with my body, and to take a pregnancy test and be able to tell my significant other and family that I'm surprised pregnant. We would have to go through extreme lengths if I could to even carry a child that wasn't technically mine. biologically. So I hid in my room and my hunger just dropped. And that's something with eating disorders too, is when you're going through a lot of stressful things, sometimes your eating disorder just kicks in and your hunger just goes away. You're like, I just said this. I think it's because I had an overwhelming sense of guilt. Women are known. The main thing that kids learn when they're little is the difference between a man and a woman, a female and male, is that a female can have a kid. Well, besides the whole private part difference, but the main thing that kids know when they're we're growing up, and when they're like running around learning how to walk, is that females can get pregnant and have kids, males cannot. Males help the woman become pregnant, but they can't carry a kid. So for me, I felt embarrassed, shameful, and I just felt honestly grotesque. And so when we went to my appointment to kind of figure out what steps to do for it and all this, because once you get a diagnosis for something, especially something like that, you have to go to a specialist and they talk you through what's going down and what's going on and all that, all the good stuff. And we went to a specialist about an hour away from our house at a big hospital in the state, and I remember nothing from that conversation. I was so in denial that I just sat there the whole appointment hating myself. I think that's what I did for a lot of my life since I found out, is just use my eating disorder to cope with it and the hatred I have for myself. I thought there was something wrong with me. And obviously, no, that's not the case. But a lot of people are, the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people, especially in my life, are getting pregnant right now. A lot of them aren't even married. A lot of them don't even have degrees. I have to deal with a lot. There's some bad parenting I've had to deal with, not from my parents, but from and also because my mom and I were talking to my mom a lot. She's like, she's not my best friend, but she's a great support system for me. So I call her we talk quite often. And I was going on a tangent about some bad parenting situation that we were talking about, with some stuff going down at their house. And my mom was like, Amanda, calm down. And I realized that's why it heats me up so much, bad parenting, and seeing kids get neglected, abused, parents just not taking the time of day to be the real parent that their kid deserves. When abortion gets brought up, whether that's in class or among family or friends, I get so heated. Even yesterday we were talking about abortion, just Blake and I, and Blake's my best friend, number one partner in life, my everything. And I even got heated with him because it's just something that's so passionate, because I remember being a kid, and I remember for the longest time in my life, my number one goal in life was to be a mom. And to have that taken away, it makes it, I'm so raw and numb that those little things set me off the edge completely. So I realized when I went to an Easter pageant, the other Easter play walkthrough thing at my church, and I saw a bunch of family with kids. For some reason, I just got really emotional. And I was trying not to cry at the big, you walk through a bunch of little rooms where they did a bunch of little scenes from the Easter story, like Jesus dying on the cross and the Last Supper. And at the end, there's this huge resurrection scene in the auditorium, and I remember just trying not to cry. seeing all the families around me and all the kids running up to Jesus and like all these announcements on Facebook and Instagram be popping with pregnancy announcements and births and pictures of my friends and coworkers and, kids. And I'm just like, it takes a lot out of you and just doesn't. And so I've really had to learn to see myself as not defective, and that for some reason, God decided in my life that having Turner syndrome was part of the plan. And whether that means that if we do go through with egg donation when we finally decide to have kids or start a family and egg donation doesn't work and having to adopt, whatever the road may lead, whether that's foster care or whatnot, because we can't have kids the normal way, or biological way. I have to open up about this and be real about it. I even started talking to my counselor about it because, like I said, it's a way to manifest my eating disorder. Because the more I talk about my Turner syndrome and I think myself about my Turner syndrome and use my eating disorder to cope with it, then my eating disorder stays alive too. And the more time off of work and school and all this stuff that goes downhill, so one affects the other. And I just really want to raise awareness for this illness because I never heard of it, and a lot of people have it, and I think it's an important thing because it's very misunderstood. I have a lot of people in my life who are like, oh, you can't have periods, you're lucky you have Turner syndrome, dang girl. And I'm like, shut the F up, you don't know what you're talking about. There's so much more to it than you think. And like, I would rather go through a period every single month and the pain and having to take Tylenol, having to go through pad after pad if it meant being able to have the kids that I want. So it's very misunderstood illness, just like eating disorders. So, that's my life. Being misunderstood illnesses, apparently. That's okay. But thank you for watching. I hope you guys liked this video. Please subscribe. Check out all my social media links. Like the video if you liked it, and leave any questions you have about from my video down below, and also any future suggestions for videos. Feel free to. Thank you. Love you all.